my biggest influences when it comes to guitar, like you said, in the NeoSoul style, which is derived from rhythm and blues, so R&B, from actual blues, from jazz and gospel music. I developed my style by going to college in LA and also by gigging a lot at different churches in Los Angeles. I was blessed with the opportunity to work with a lot of amazing musicians around me, and I was able to feed from their musicianship and their skills and their techniques. I owe a big part of my playing to gospel music. I think it's a little hard to explain that questions because my biggest influence or my favorite guitar player is Guthrie Govan, but my style of playing is very different from his. Maybe when I was younger, I tried to emulate that style, like fusion guitar, rock, jazz, and all that, but I found my voice in R&B and NeoSoul. But I take a lot of the lessons I got from watching Guthrie Govan videos into my own playing as well. And one of the big lessons that I got from Guthrie is that Guthrie is not afraid to explore and learn a bunch of different genres, and then he picks whatever he likes from every genre, and then he incorporates it into his own playing and his own voice. And that's something I try to emulate. Just listen to a lot of music, listen to a lot of styles, and then pick the things that I love the most about each style, and then add that into my own playing. I like so many different styles. It depends on what's my current phase I'm in. So because I've been doing music for so long, I've had the chance to be super into a style at different points in my life. If you ask me what's the single style that has always been there despite my different moods in music, I would say it's R&B. No matter what I do, even if I'm writing a rock song or a trap song or a hip hop song, I feel like my R&B influences are always present. I think the most important part about playing is your musicianship and your own voice. The ability to create melodies that are unique to yourself. And once you're able to express those melodies that live in your head, you want to be able to play those melodies. So whatever you're trying to sing, make sure those can be expressed through your fingers. How do you make the idea in your head sound pretty? It starts first with your finger, with your instrument, and lastly with your tone, whether it's an amp or whether it's a multi-effects or a pedal. So this question reminds me a lot of something I mentioned yesterday at the event, which is dynamics and also, like you mentioned, harmony and theory. You can play with these two things and create multiple emotions. You can transmit different feelings through how hard you're playing a note, how slowly you're playing a phrase, and that's what we call pocket. Pocket is just how can you play around the beat, whether you're playing it before or after, right? If you're playing it after the beat, then you're rushing, and that's not necessarily bad. Rushing can express a feeling of anxiety. You can be a little anxious, like when you're playing faster than the BPM of a song, or when you're playing slower. If you're playing slower than that, that means you're more laid back, you're chilling, you know? Like Rain, for example. Rain is very laid back because nobody wants to be running in the rain. Like, at least I don't want to be running in the rain. I want to enjoy the rain because I love the rain, right? And the second portion of it is through chords and harmony and theory, right? The first example that comes to my mind, because we talked about it yesterday, is dissonance. Dissonance to me usually creates and evokes conflict. So depending on the story that you want to tell, if you have, I'm gonna get a little more technical, if you have a note and a different note playing at the same time that are only half step away from each other, then that creates conflict in music, right?
Yeah.
And that's an example that you can add into your playing, right? Oh, I would like there to be conflict right now in my playing because the story that I'm trying to tell my audience is a story of conflict. So that's when I would add dissonance to my playing. And resolving that dissonance would be resolving the conflict in the story. And it can go many ways. If you don't want to resolve it, then you just keep the dissonance going and never resolve it, because some problems and some stories are like that. But if you want to resolve it, then you just play a nice pretty major chord afterwards, and that means that the conflict was solved in the story. Not vocal cords voice, but my mental voice.
Mental voice.
Yeah. Being able to sing a melody in my head is more important than picking up the guitar and noodling. Remember all the voice notes? That's the voice. It doesn't matter if it's in pitch or not, as long as the idea is coming through, right? You remember, it was like, it was like very funny, but the final product is good because that's unique to you. Everybody has a different voice that lives in their head that nobody else has.
Yeah.
And the solos and the melodies all starts from inside the head before I even sing it with my vocal cords. I don't think it's a transition because the full title of this is artist.
Yeah.
And the full title is musician, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like it's a transition between becoming a guitar player into a singer. I feel like everything has always been a part of me.
Yeah.
And at different points in my life, I'm gonna be focusing a little bit more on
choosing different
Exactly.
way of expressing.
Exactly. Some years I feel like expressing more with guitar, and some other years I wanna sing more. It's all part of my artistry. And remember, like the voice in my head, like that voice in my head determines whether I want to express the emotions through singing or whether I want to express it through guitar. Because there's things that you can do with guitar that you can't do with the voice, but there's things that you can do with the voice that you can't do with the guitar. My first experience with the Donner brand was more than 5 years ago. I was going through a phase where I really wanted to downsize all my gear equipment because it was very hard to go to different gigs. It was hard to go to session carrying a big pedal board and carrying multiple guitars. And that led me to research different mini pedals. And at that time, I think Donner was probably the top choice on Amazon for mini pedals. And I found a mini looper and a mini wah from Donner that I really enjoyed. It was very affordable, and the tone was what I needed at that moment for my mini pedal board, and that solved my problem that I had at the moment, which was I couldn't put a big wah and a big looper in my tiny pedal board. And that's how I was first introduced to the Donner brand. I've been playing the Hush X maybe for the past month, and my first impressions of the guitar was, wow, they really upgraded the Hush I. Yeah, because I had the Hush I before the Hush X, right? And I had almost a full year playing with the Hush I before the Hush X, and I think that the Hush X is a good upgrade from the Hush I. It has a better feeling neck. There's design upgrades that fixes a lot of the issues that the Hush I had. One of the big ones was in the Hush I, you had to use a wrench to tune the guitar. Now it's just a little twist to the knot, so it's fast. And the other upgrade is the metal pieces that hold the guitar down and up. It's very easy to put on, so it's actually quite a nice sleek design upgrade for traveling purposes. It's very easy to pick up and just plug it in, and you can practice anywhere or record a quick idea into your computer whenever you are in a hotel room or even in a park. No questions, I'll bring the Hush X if I'm traveling for a quick 1 week, 2 week trip and I need to have something that is tiny enough that I can carry in the airplane and tiny enough that it's not too heavy. I would definitely pick the Hush X. I've had multiple travel guitars in the past, and when it comes to how they design not only the guitar, even the gig bag, the guitar bag that it has, I feel like they did a really good job into making it easy for guitar enthusiasts like myself to be able to practice at hotel rooms and be able to record quick ideas. For me, the most important part in the guitar has always been the neck. The neck in the Hush X was done really nicely, especially if you compare it to its predecessor, which is the Hush I. I'm very comfortable playing on the Hush X's neck. So you get the single coil, you get the blend, and the humbucker. I'm a single coil guy, so I rarely touch the humbucker on the Hush X, but the single coil gives me a vibe of a Strat single coil mixed with piezo sound. And it's a very unique sound that you can't really emulate with other guitars. So depending on the situation that you're in when you're recording, if your idea in your head and when you came up with that melody was that tone, I would 100% use this even on the studio, like not even traveling alone. Like I would have to use it on the studio because that's the sound that my head requires me to use. I feel like for my clean tone sounds, it's done a great enough job that I'm satisfied to record with when I'm traveling. I was only using one pedal, which is by Donner as well, the Arena 2000. It's a super compact multi-effects unit. It fit in my backpack, so great addition to the Hush X, very easy to take anywhere, and it has 95 to 99% of anything that you will ever need when it comes to recording a quick idea and making sure that that idea exists. And I want to emphasize something really important. A lot of musicians, especially guitar players, they get inspired, but they fall into this trap where they're like, but I don't have this equipment right now, so I cannot record it. And in my head, I'm like, the most important thing is that when you're inspired, you want to record that idea right away, whether it's on your phone or whatever, right? So the Hush X plus the Arena 2000 is a good in-between. Like, you don't need to have bad quality like a voice note, and you don't have professional studio setting, but you can get a really good tone really fast. Just plug and play and you record right away, right? Without sacrificing both sides, right? Like ease of use and tone. So for any musicians out there that are always like, but I don't have this piece of gear, so I cannot record this idea. Check this out. It's just super easy to plug and play, and you can carry it anywhere. I'm a simple guy. When it comes to tone, I'm super simple. All I need in my rig is a good delay, a good reverb, and a good overdrive. Everything else around it is just a plus. Compressors, EQs, noise gate, all that can be adjusted with your fingers. What I can't adjust is how much delay and how much reverb and how much overdrive with my fingers. So that's why those three choices always have to be in my rig. And luckily enough, the Arena 2000 has multiple types of all of those. It has a variety of reverb, spring reverb, hall reverb, a variety of delays, tape delays, and so on. And even for overdrive, it has tube sounds, it has fuzz sounds, etc., etc. They can take the preset and just download my clean sound. Yeah,
we would like to upload it to our website.
Yeah, I'm not a super tone head, but the preset I was able to do on the Arena 2000 suits my needs, and it suits the Hush X's needs because every guitar reacts differently to the tones, right? So I'm not gonna say that if you're plugging a Les Paul and a Strat, it's gonna sound the same, but if you're plugging in a Hush X, it's gonna sound exactly the same as whatever videos you guys watch me playing. On the Arena 2000, I used Blues Junior Replica. A good example nowadays is Richie Kotzen. Richie Kotzen threw the pick away and he only uses his fingers now. I think one of the reasons is probably you always have your fingers and you don't need a pick. So if you can adjust your style of playing to only using fingers,
look for the pick.
Exactly, you don't have to look for a pick and you don't lose picks. I don't know if you guys have a pick nearby, so I can show you how I hold my picks. Do you have a pick with you? So for example, we have this Donner pick here. My playing, like you said, I use a lot of finger style, right? Yeah. But what a lot of people don't realize is that I'm always hiding my pick. Whether I hide it here in front of me, or whether I'm using my index finger to hold it like this. When I hold it like this, I still get all my finger style playing. Like I can even pluck with my index finger, so I can still pluck everything. But when I need to switch to soloing, I get like a little Swiss knife. So it goes from this to this really fast, and I can play fast notes, like fast patterns or like something that no matter what you do on the fingers, you cannot be as aggressive without the pick. Especially when you play very fast pentatonic licks, it sounds way better when you go da 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 da. It sounds like a Gatling gun or like a machine gun, right? With the fingers, I don't have the skills to make it sound like a machine gun. Maybe somebody else does. So my solution is to always carry my pick in my index finger style, solo style. And that's how I use my pick. A Guthrie Govan does it like this. But I also don't have the skills, and my pick always falls when I try to develop the same.
Yeah, most
When I tried to develop this style, my pick kept falling.
Yeah.
So I had to modify that to suit my fingers because everybody's anatomy of their hands are different. For me, this worked the best to hold it on my index finger. Finger style, for me, everybody's different. Finger style for me is more accurate. So what do I mean by accurate? There's a lot of licks and phrases and melodies that I play that have a lot of string skipping. What do I mean by string skipping? I play something on the 6th string, 4th string, and 1 string, right? And I have to skip the string in between. Using a pick, it's hard to da-da, without messing up or creating sounds that you don't want. So finger style is really good for that, right? You can play the bass, and every finger is assigned to different strings. So it's hard. Exactly, directly to the fingers. Directly to the strings. So the margin of error is lower compared to the pick. But what the fingers struggle with is the thing I just mentioned, attacking and fast notes playing. It's very easy to play faster succession of notes, shredding with a pick than with my fingers. Of course, there's a lot of Spanish, like Spain players, like flamenco or like other styles, and that requires a lot of training, right? So my happy medium is like I said, like holding my pick like this so I can switch between both modes, right? If people are a fan of like playing games, it's probably like defense mode and attack mode. Finger style is defense mode because margin of error is smaller, right? So everything will sound cleaner and better. And then when you want to be aggressive, you switch to attack mode. Attack mode, you might be a little more imperfect, but everything sounds faster and punchier and more aggressive. The motivation is probably, I think the answer could be very, very long, but I'm trying to summarize it as best as possible. I had something to say, right?
Yeah, you have something to say.
The first reason, outside of it being a very vain song as in like self-loving, because I say my name so many times, that's part of the reason, right? Like, but let's disregard that reason first. At the moment of my life, I had released a couple singing songs already, and the reaction was mixed. A lot of people really liked it, and some people really didn't like it, right? If you research the lyrics of Ruben Wan, on the verses, when I sing, I tell people that I don't care what you think about me. I will still express myself however I want, because that's my artistry, right? So no matter what you tell me, I'm gonna still release the music that I love, because yes, I play music to entertain people, but most importantly, I play music to make myself happy first, right? The third reason, I wanted to show people that I'm more than just a guitar player. I am multifaceted, as in I can do multiple things outside of only guitar playing, and not only that, I'm multicultural. I was born in a Latin American country, but my parents are Chinese, and I live in the US now, so I feel like I have a unique story to tell, a very good opportunity to mix a lot of different genres. In the Ruben Wan song, you can hear Chinese instrumentation, but at the same time, you have hip hop and trap. Then you have blazing guitar solos that has been the last 10 years of my life. I just felt like it was a statement. It was a musical statement. Whether people liked it or not, it was a musical statement that I felt that it was important to express. A lot of new plans. I feel like the next EP or album will probably be a live band album. I want to get a lot of my close musician friends that are amazing. I want to be able to schedule them into a recording session and be able to record old songs and a couple new songs into a studio version, like a live studio version. My old music and new music, and hopefully I can release that in 2014.